and release.
All right.
Okay.
You got it.
Oh, do you see the little red?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Everybody else got theirs up and running? Hudson, you good? Perfect. So make sure he's got a square. Yep. All right. So let's talk about who the heck these people were. Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. That's why we look for secondary clues, everybody. I need to know which Charles is coming through. So, with that said, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us, but I hate politics more than everybody here. We're going to move on. If I don't bring it up, they will do it for me very angrily through a spirit box. If you guys are getting my point. If they just want that recognition of me coming here every night. Now, we're going to talk about Eliza. She has a much better story anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. If you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, of course, do not expect numbers from the colonial times that she came from, like 12 and 14. Think of today's standards, because her husband was over double her age. Kind of a creepy age gap in the 1700s, definitely a creepy age gap now, yes.
They like went to 12.5 and then shot down.
That's why it's called ghost hunting. They don't stand still. So that's beautiful. 12.5 is the new baseline for you, so don't give me anything below that 12 and a half. Do I need to explain what the EMF is like right away so we know what kind of numbers we're looking at, or do you want me to explain them before we leave? Do we want to see how high they go before I freak anybody out like Haley? Sorry, she's like my one person that's a little anxious. Is she our 14th person, by the way? Who's the additive?
I think we just forgot somebody.
We just forgot one.
Yeah, we just forgot to add.
Anyway, I'll explain those before we leave the space. Let's get back to Eliza. She married Charles because her father was over in England. He thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all his children home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, and instead she stayed put and got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. So she did marry him out of love. There's no foul play. Do not poke the bear if you're going to be asking her questions about her marriage. So kind of keep that in mind. She was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where we're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least an hour that I know of. You've seen the word indigo somewhere because it's planted all over town. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. I guarantee you somebody's wearing it tonight because that's how we use it. When Eliza got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with it. She had to learn from her slaves and servants how to keep it cultivated. And when she figured it out, because it's not always hot here, she had to make the dye. When she did that, she moved it to a cash crop plantation just south of here by the Stono River. Then, she called a hold of her father and said, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with this indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. So this is something absolutely unheard of. That's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. Every type of spirit box is going to, like I said, get a set of focus questions. So kind of keep that in mind. And by the way, you guys don't need to have those antennas up. I would actually prefer if you did have them up so high.
I thought it made a difference.
It's only just going to give you more gobbledygook. So,
Oh, cool. I don't
yeah.
want that.
Yep, exactly. So, not to mention, I don't want them to break off so we don't get a signal at all, if that makes sense. Yeah, that would bad. It's
I don't know if this is relevant, but what you were just talking about fits that word.
It
that
does.
keeps coming up.
It's vague. I would want something else with it to
Okay.
verify it.
All right.
But yeah, you're on the right track. So let's kind of go through the spirit boxes and kind of give them a series of questions. If you're not getting answers to your direct questions, cherry pick off of somebody else's. It does work out that way. Remember, we don't know where the answers are going to go. So, Jason, and where's the other red one? Keep losing. Katie. I had the name down. I just couldn't find it. So Jason and Katie, I'm going to give you guys the same set of questions. I'm going to probably pair this up because a lot of these spirit boxes work the same way. Yeah. Eliza's death. It's going to be how old she was when she died, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. Those are the 4 majors that we commonly get answers to around here. So those would be your focus questions. Next spirit box that you have is going to be Randy.
Yep,
And where
I got the number 24.
you didn't die at the age of 24.
Okay, I don't.
All right.
So I'm gonna write that one down just because it might be relevant later on. So where's the other earbud one? Who has the other earbud? Flynn, right?
Yes.
All right. So Flynn and Randy, you guys have similar style spirit boxes as well. So the mansion's not here anymore. So you can ask what happened to it and when did that happen. Obviously, a specific date is what we're looking for here. Normally, if we get the what, we will get 2 or 3 numbers out of the when. The reason why you have these kind of set of questions, very simple, is because your devices only give 1 to 2 syllables out at a time. So that's the reason why for that one. So the Ouija board and the word generator list. So where are those folks at? So, hi. I'm gonna get it. Melissa. right? All right, so Kai and Melissa, you two kind of have the same set of information. You're looking for similar things. So Eliza that we just spoke about is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. So he had two wives named Eliza. One died in January. 5 months later, he marries the one we just talked about. So kind of a jerk move, right? Ironically, both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. You are mainly looking for those initials, E-L-P, in that order. No mixing up. I want to make sure we get it in that order.
Okay.
But with yours, specifically, we're looking for which Eliza are we dealing with
I
by
heard
asking the maiden name.
24 get and something about a crash. Yeah.
It's not relevant to here, but it is an interesting piece. I'll talk about that one later. So 24 and crash. You're also going to have the marriage questions because yours also comes up with numbers. It will give you numbers spelled out. So you can ask her how old she was, how old Chuck was, and how long they were married. So those are kind of similar questions that come out of those. I think that covers all of the communication devices. And they also have a spirit box that I missed. There is one with an open-ended speaker. All right, so yeah, that's that one. You could cherry pick off of anything that suited your fancy out of anybody else. So, because that's the one I don't normally bring out, so I don't have a separate set of questions for that style. I would mainly go after, probably for death questions, how old, where, what, and what president. So those are the four majors that we get out of that.
About 40.
24 and 40. And crash. And a 12.5 milligauss. So do we get anything higher than that 12.5?
17.5.
Nice.
How you doing that? Look at you.
Well, Randy's
Alright, so what's going to happen here is I'm going to have to keep Kai behind so I can show how to use that device a little bit more specific. Everybody else start spreading out, stay away from vehicles. That's the main priority here with this many people. I'm going to bounce around with everybody, see what's going on, do one full round robin, and bring us all back to go over the answers.
One more quick question.
Yes, Lily.
What is that?
Just film nice and slow.
Just film nice and slow. All right?
Film the face?
So,
A little bit of everything.
I already
Just not
have.
cars and stuff.
Well, it's hard to not get cars around the
Well,
parking
you
lot.
can get them in. It's fine. We're just walking around. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do.
I think you just look for words that are supposed to blend in with what is
I
happening here.
guess.
I don't know.
Are you here? I have no idea. I don't know
I
what I'm doing.
don't know either.
It's fascinating. Well, I think these are awesome, and I understand them, they're so cool, but I already hear these, so I can't process any words. It just sounds
Maybe
like
get
radio
someone to switch with you.
I might, because I can't hear it, I'm not getting it.
Mine is very easy.
Because it
Mine
just
are
sounds like
just
radio static to me.
yeah, that's
Maybe
what it
it's
would be to
because
me
I don't
too.
believe
See, I just have bad hearing.
Can you imagine somebody walking up on their phone out?
anything else, Jason?
Something about 424.
More 24s coming out.
Yeah, another 24. I don't know what's that deal with that is.
I think you're just mad at me. Which Eliza? Just manifesting, like saying, like you could say them out loud.
I said, like, I did.
I was like, what is in this
Well, I said how old is it?
Yeah,
You have to know.
yeah, just
And then it just changed to girl. That's it. It's really nice out. Are you cold?
No.
Okay. You know what really sucks? I really want to cigarette.
Everything that was
Oh. I need to quit talking. How old were you? Were you happily married? And it's changed a couple times. It just went from girl to guy. But I don't know about you. So it's denied, like I denied that, like that kind of guy. Kayla has no idea what she's doing. She just
Elijah too. How many kids did you have?
No, you're kidding.
One?
okay, yeah, syllables at a point.
What happened? What happened?
What do we got coming out of yours?
Yeah, he thought he could be it.
Oh, it's just not reading. This temperature gauge has been a little weird lately. I gotta
Well, I got a 54 and
bring up the entire word list and you'll be able to scroll through everything we've had so far.
You.
Okay. Sorry, something popped up on the app that you guys about the space, but to me personally. But right now the only thing I kind of saw was like that foreign
Yes, that's the only
is
thing
kind
I
of
saw.
kind of there. But when you want to go back to the main one, you just hit the top right and it'll just bring you right back to the main screen.
Okay.
Hey, Mom,
Yeah.
do you have any water?
I do, babe. Here.
So that gave you like a pretty non-defensive type of
Kaylin.
thing. Kaylin. I keep screwing that up, don't I?
You're alright.
I'm used to it by now.
She is. She gets it all the time. Go ahead.
But you're going to start to see like ghost hunting doesn't always have to be a scary thing. It's not what they show you on TV. Like we're talking about a plantation owner here. Like again, we can't see her, but we have things going on that kind of tell me like we might actually have her here again tonight. So again, you're going to see like hopefully with your camera, it's non-defensive. I don't always follow up with this camera in real time either, just because it's so small. I send all these videos to YouTube so I can watch them on a computer, and then you guys can watch them on your TV. So that's the reason why I do it that way.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So
You'll
they
know
go-
how to do that more than me.
I mean, quick links. You just send it over to your TV.
Right.
If you have a smart TV, it's already got YouTube in it. With your device, literally just nice slow movements. We're not going to capture any orbs or anything moving around if you're being like this, trying to capture everything. Just as nice and slow as like what you're doing right now.
Okay.
So, all right. Who else has a
You got the easy one. Okay, so you're looking for orbs.
I haven't been just looking. It's hard to see.
Well, it's basically, I think he's the one who goes through stuff
Yeah.
and sees, not like you, right? Right.
Probably not.
So basically, he's going to be looking at this for words that are important to him, so it makes sense to him, but it wouldn't make sense to me. So
Well,
I'm
you
not
don't
gonna
know.
ask. I'm not gonna ask her questions anymore because I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm just not gonna do it anymore because I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like an idiot.
That's fair. I do too.
Yours is easy. You get an easy one.
Yeah.
Just walk around. Oh, whoa. I'll walk with you.
Okay.
I'll just walk slow and steady. Is your arm getting tired? Because I'm getting tired.
Just my fingers, so I switched hands.
My back hurts. Yeah, you can switch hands.
Yeah.
I think mine's probably just as heavy as yours. It's heavy. Feel how heavy that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just mine's like a different shape.
Right. I think yours is more comfortable. This sucks. Like, I feel like I'm holding a cell phone, but a really heavy one. Or like 3 of them at the same time. Portland. I don't think they probably even had those back in your day. But maybe.
I don't know if that's really on topic though.
I don't think so either. Well, a lot of them won't be.
Yeah.
Like, I can check the list.
It's because it's an app,
See,
isn't
look,
it?
I can check the list at any time
Yeah.
of what the words have been so far, and then I go back.
I had an app like that once, and it kept just saying murder, and it was really
Oh,
annoying.
well,
So I
that's
just
creepy.
deleted it.
Are you filming?
Yeah.
Okay. Go slow and steady.
I'm probably the worst person to give this to because I really don't want to stay this slow.
You don't have to go fast.
I think I'm gonna go pee behind this dumpster. Do you want to come with? Make sure I'm putting this
All right, let's rein everybody back. We'll show you how this is all coming together. All right, come on, we're going to group everybody up. You don't have to hang out by a dumpster. All right, if you have a video camera and you want to give your head a break, go ahead and snip three spots of the video so you can kind of relax a little bit. Hey, Jackie. So, Jackie, they used to be Jack until I seen that Jack was pregnant. Jackie is probably in here to hunt down my other good friend, Remy. You guys can all guess what kind of animal Remy is. So, Remy, we're in his domain, so if he moves around, he's not going to go near us. He just kind of stays in the brush, just so you guys know around this cool. Good. Turkeys nearby, and they do that to try to, they say that the devil stays in the corners of the cemetery, so they have a bunch of cats running around the cemetery to try to chase
My
out
vape.
That's the rumor around that. But I think he's just there just to get rid of the rats. So, kind of get more. Is she okay?
Oh, yeah, she's good.
She probably dropped something, but
She dropped
she dropped her bait.
Yeah, don't lose that. But video cameras, with yours specifically now, Randy, so when people come by and basically grab that top handle. And if you want to get some footage in here, not sideways, grab the top handle. And then you want to like just hold it like a suitcase, but everybody else kind of like keep it at belly level. You guys are getting my point, so that way we're not looking very suspicious down here, if that makes sense. So Kaylin's got it down perfect. She's got it. But this is Philadelphia Alley in case you didn't read the sign. So Randy, I think read the sign. He's like, oh, Philadelphia. But anyway, this used to be called Jewelers Alley. So this is where some of the jewels used to occur in Rome. So I think some of the jewels wasn't legal during the 1700s, and they had to go find their hiding spots to go let this event actually occur. So this was one of those spaces. Every ghost story comes down here, like I said, because we can all prove that this specific duel occurred, and I'm going to tell you the same story that everybody else does, but with a little bit more detail because you're ghost hunting and not doing ghost like marshmallow campfire type of stories. So let's kind of get into it. There's a doctor that goes down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. For those of you with spirit boxes, you're still listening in. If you get the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. It's part of the doctor's name, and yes, we get it here all the time. But anyway, have you guys getting my point with that? Dr. Ladd moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. He tells Amanda she's rid of the doctor. He comes to Charleston to prove that he's not. He's going to start his medical practice here. as he's coming into town, the coachman that brought him in set him up to be robbed and killed. And he left him inside the building where he was supposed to stay. Someone was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. By the way, anybody else smell something very specific or very sweet? Very weird. Anyway, sorry, I do that all the time. So you guys gotta like catch me like, Nick, get back on track here. But anyway,
Let's go.
smells flower.
I got a whiff. Just a minute ago.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Hello.
Okay, good enough. I thought somebody may have been vaping. I didn't see anything. But anyway, but this guy walking by, actually, his name is Ralph Isaacs. And this is part of where I stopped on purpose because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. The letters R-I were coming through on those red spirit boxes, the ones with the earbuds, all the time. Like somebody was spelling something for us, the letters R-I, but that's all we would hear out of the spelling. So I decided to buy the music for device. That's exactly why we have it. Normally during this time, in the past 6 months, I would say 4 or 5 times, we've actually had the letters R-I come up on that device as I'm telling you about Ralph. So we're trying to take that for what it is, consecutively. So those are the letters we're specifically looking for, are the letters R-I in that order. Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's got a gun on his side. He's going to try to kill you. Come with me. We're going to go to 59 Church Street, and you can rent something from him. They're friends of mine, and you'll be safe. The doctor took him up on the offer. They became friends. The one of the doctor stays here in Charleston, and one night, the practice is taking off, and he's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's cash. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Here's what I'm going to tell you about whistling ghosts. Every haunted city has a cliche with that service on, and you have one too. There's actual proof for this one, but we're going to get into that as we kind of move along. You can hopefully find something for that for yourself in all of your media. But anyway, Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. They talk about these plays on the way home. They go see Richard III from Shakespeare one night, and they're arguing over the new actress. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiance, Amanda, at home in Rhode Island. It's very ugly. They go their separate ways. Now, Ralph has friends around town. He goes to his friends at the newspaper, puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston that he thinks is fucked up. And enough fear of disgrace to society, kind of mentality. The doctor saw the ad, and brother lived it. Let's go to the alley. We're going to settle this shit, and somebody's going to die. Ain't done. The doctor turned, pointed his gun in the air, and shot. He did not want to kill his friend. Shot his one shot into the air. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happens at a door. But Ralph, he has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Dr. Ladd doesn't die either, but he drops to the ground. His friends picked him up and carried him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later, November 2nd of 1786, after refusing medical treatment. Why did he refuse medical treatment? It's 1786. Gunshot wounds were a lot different than what we think of them as now. He probably tried to bleed out the lead poisoning from the bullet wound himself. Instead, he failed and died. So, every ghost tour will tell you, you hear how quiet it is right now? It's always this quiet. A busy Saturday afternoon, this is what this alley sounds like unless that air conditioning is running over there, which is very loud. They say to listen for the whistles of the doctor. Good thing for you is we have 3 video cameras and my voice recorder running right now. If there's going to be a whistle in the background, it's going to be on one of those 4 devices. What I will also tell you is that if you're going to try this on your own and go all the way down to the end of the alley, I can't take you down there because I've actually been kicked out of here. We're going to talk about that in just a second because that's the fun part of the story. But anyway, if you're going to try it on your own, and I got Trent's attention back there, he's like, yeah, let's talk about how Nick almost got arrested. That's great. Anyway, his eyes are as big as plates back there. Turn on your voice recorders on your phone and listen to those whistles in the background. What I will tell you is that every local also knows this story. So anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single morning once I'm done with the practice alley going back to my vehicle. So, and I do it especially since I got kicked out of here. That's with any other tour that might actually be down here. Let's get into that. Trent's really excited about it. Anyway, but let's think I got most of you guys' names on this. I'm surprised at myself. Pat myself on the back over here. But anyway, this alley didn't go all the way through this way. This should also, by the way, give you an idea of how I actually piece things together. There was a wall halfway between us and where Cumberland ends, which is exactly why I stopped right here. The reason why is because this is where we kept the livestock in the city of Charleston. This used to be called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley, which means the bricks that all the way at the other end are older than the ones that were found on. Those bricks at the other end are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's a full handprint from a slave child down at the end, and some fingerprint swipes and other bricks. They used to take people all the way through to go show off those bricks and kind of go over the history. Not as a piece of like, hey, we're going to find a ghost, because I treat that brick with the handprint the same way I do a grave. That's the last place you're going to find that kid. November 26th of 2020. I take my entire team of 10 down there. They're all huddled around that damn brick waiting for something to happen from all their devices. I'm trying to shoot them along because I know nothing's going to happen, and I'm also trying to be respectful because I'm out at the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I didn't know I was out of bounds. The new owner of the mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because she was on the tour that day, and her dad's getting yelled at. We moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't throw on Thanksgiving because I worked in retail management for over 20 years and higher management for Walmart. If you can kind of get this while I've never worked another day on Thanksgiving in my life. So, but anyway, the next day was November 28th. So I called my partner that I had at the time and I told him what happened, and he's laughing at me. He's like, dude, you can't go down that way. You can only go down halfway, or you got to reroute through. So it's Black Friday, so not again. And I told my team, I don't believe in the next story. I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. Obviously, we're discussing pirates next. And somebody said, well, they actually heard something on their spirit box. They heard the name Anne coming out of the spirit box. I didn't tell them who you're going to be investigating. It was the famous female pirate Anne Vine, which is obviously who we're going to be discussing next. So I'm like, all right, maybe we'll get something. The next we get up there, I told them a little bit I did know about piracy. Somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what it means. Just like the number 24 radio. I wrote it down and I researched it tomorrow. We were there on November 28th, 2020. Anne Vine's trial for piracy, November 28th of 17. Exactly 300th anniversary of the piracy. So, here's what I'm going to say. You guys are all excited about that. My shoulder strums are like so, here's the reason you realize this. How you doing, guys?
Hey, good. How are you?
Pretty good. So, master's degree in creative writing. Pirate stories are based out of pirate lore. I like facts. I like it, even if it's fiction, I like it to be based off of some kind of truth. Especially when doing investigations, I want to make sure we're trying to get as much factual data as possible. Pirate lore doesn't give us that unless you read a shit ton of books, which is exactly what I've been doing ever since that day. I've read more books on piracy than I ever wanted to in my entire life. I've played video games on piracy that I never wanted to play. I've watched more documentaries on pirates that I never wanted to watch, just to make sure like what we're discussing has at least a minimum of 2 resources to make sure what we're doing is as accurate as possible. It is a yeah, Black Flag. I just started it again yesterday. I had the night off because it rained. So I was like, oh, let me start this one back up again. I'm a big AC fan too, by the way. I love that. But anyway, back to the next location. It's a hit or miss. We're going to get a lot or nothing. So Tinky Mansion site, a little on the lighter side. I'm always on with you guys. I don't know if you guys are hearing or capturing here because obviously it's talking and we're not really discussing. So once we get over there, you're going to get things from this location and hopefully from the Anne Bonnie story that we'll start. So, Jessica's getting bored over there. You gotta wait for her. Gotta get her moving and working again. Somebody's gonna have to swap the device with Jessica so she doesn't have boring picture taking all night long. The gate behind me. Normally I take the, just so you guys know, the K2 meter. Who has the K2 meter? Kevin?
Yeah.
Kevin and the picture taker are normally one person. So that's usually how I set up my groups of 10. But that actually worked out. I split you guys up. Who's the better half? I won't get into that. The gate. This gate, there's not a whole lot of people know why it's here. Remember that the alley didn't go all the way through this way? In the event there was a loser to a door, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on this side. Otherwise, it had to go all the way down to the end, to Queen Street, and double back to get up to the cemetery with dead weight. Remember, a loser is a dead guy. That's heavy weight. So this was a shortcut that they created. The wrought iron was 1500s, but you can see by the top archway that it's actually part of the original alleyway wall. So very interesting piece of psychology that nobody else can get into that. I can't even remember when I played it. Is that? Yeah, that gate works. Yeah. All right, we ready to learn about some rated R pirates? Yeah, somebody you got my damn joke. My bad dad joke.
Should probably get off here. Okay, I love you.
Hi, Jackie. Mom.
Kirsten, you got mad.
Sure. Okay, so you hold it here, and it's already recording.
Okay. There you go. And you just gotta hold it.
Yeah, thanks. My hand was
And I just do this?
Yeah, and then you just like hold it around and look for oils.
Okay, just
But move it slowly.
like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it does record.
I got to pet her for a while. We played with this. I found this. I'm keeping it. It looks like a rose.
It's like
It's
the thing
in
in
the
the
house, yeah.
Airbnb.
Oh,
There's one of those in the. There's one of those.
We have
right
three.
there is?
Yeah.
Well, I just found it on the ground.
There's another one.
I'm gonna keep it. What is it? Is
I
it
don't
meant to
know.
be like
I
this?
think
Or,
it's decorative. Yeah.
like, but did someone make this?
Were we supposed to turn off the
Maybe a local
camera?
artist or something.
I'm keeping
Oh,
it.
okay, Mom, turn off the camera.
Oh,
Click the button.
this.
Yes.
How's our word list
We
coming?
switched. She was getting sore.
Terms.
Last
One, my mother, separate, silent, and pit.
Hit?
Yeah.
PIT.
P-I-T-T?
Just PIT.
PIT. Any other words being heard on the spirit boxes?
I don't feel like it. I know, it's very like.
Not easy. Spirit boxes are actually the hardest job out here. That's actually kind of my
There's
expertise.
something right
So
there.
when I get
Do you
calls
see
for
that?
That's a traffic cone.
In
Oh.
front of it. Do you see that?
Huh.
Do you see that? Oh, well, I mean,
Well, why
it's
would
gone
you go
now.
away?
Yeah, someone was on the camera.
No, I think it's just
I
a
think-
dot.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's
so
moving.
there's one dot that I can't seem to get rid of.
Okay, I'm like,
And
because
that's
it's
why I
moving with
changed
it. Yeah.
And I debunk a lot of those things.
Alright.
Jumped at me.
She did. She got so excited.
So
And what number am I looking for?
Anything above 2.5 when we're not on
No way. Where was your phone?
Oh,
And do I need to do anything?
It was in my room.
Normally a phone will go up to like
Getting loud
maybe
when I was
7 to
here.
12,
And just see if the
but I would test it. Make sure it's not your phone before I record those down.
You
I
were
mean, I would
standing
keep
right
them-
about there.
Yeah, because your phone gives off pulses.
The only other thing I've heard is get a quarter pounder.
I heard.
I want a quarter pounder.
Go to McDonald's.
Somebody's in the back seat.
I think I'm gonna go in that porta
Probably
potty.
me. Probably me. Quarter pounder.
Kevin,
Oh, we walked by that big McDonald's shoe. Ronald McDonald.
we did.
Yeah.
Did you go in there?
Yeah.
How gross.
It was one of the cleanest ones
I'm
I was
going.
about to say pea
I'm
pounder.
going. Can someone hold this?
Honeysuckle. Yeah.
Are you sure?
All right.
And it's recording, so.
Yeah, and so.
I'm doing it. I'm afraid that I'm doing it. When I'll be right back.
This is where I get to set the bag down, not the bag at 7 times, but this story can be a little animated. So, as you guys just rotate around through the porta potty, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. You guys are good with that? Every tour, a lot of tours come up here. And they're going to discuss reasons why we're here. So, those are our crosses on that building. I know we did hear a cross 6,000, so Jason actually heard that on the way here. So again, I kind of took that as a cross and then the number 6,000. So I don't know if that's going to have any relevance, but we also have the My Mother piece on the word generator list right now. And that's an interesting piece if something else is going to pop up with that. Just because I want to say we're really close to another story. There's like 15 stories on this corner. I stick to the pirate story. But anyway, back to the crosses. Sorry, I'll go off on tangents, guys, because I could do this all night long. But the crosses are earthquake bolts. If you're not familiar with what an earthquake bolt is, it's a turnbuckle. So it goes all the way through the roof. And on the other side, it looks exactly the same way. So if we have another earthquake, you can tighten them, and it's supposed to tighten the building back up so it doesn't incur any further damage after the earthquake. Sounds like a great idea, but that shit don't work. The reason I bring it up is because those earthquake bolts, those very crude ones on that front of that building, those are the very first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in, simply because it's the oldest government building in South Carolina. So you were correct. Those are earthquake bolts in that building as well. They're just a little bit more modern. But those very crude ones, is because of that building over in the front. That building was finished in 1713. It was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny came here to start a new life. So that's why we're here. For Randy, who watches all the TV shows, he'll tell you that they use some kind of teddy bear device. It has a bunch of motion sensors in it and voice talkers, and they do that when they're trying to talk to a child ghost simply because I smell that smell again, by the way.
It's hand sanitizer. She sprayed hand sanitizer.
Okay. That's what it is. Bingo. I'm like, it's the exact same smell, and I know what it is.
Lavender.
Got it.
Sorry.
You're gonna put me to sleep up here. But that child toy is basically so that way that the child recognizes it. This is one of the few buildings we have in this relative era of when it was being built. It's still here. So we're here because this is what I call a familiar building to Anne Bonny. So this is a familiar haunting. Kind of gives you that idea. So the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like a government small building, 10 years? No, not at all. So anyway, the history begins right in the middle of its construction. So try to follow me. There's a lot of weird little pirate crazy chick twists in this, so I'll slow down on those twists. So 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Is everybody with me so far?
Yeah.
And that's good. So the three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that she kicked them out of the country by boat in 1708? There's no planes. Kind of anyway, they landed in Georgetown. That's between us and Myrtle Beach. So that kind of gives you an idea of where they landed. Dad bought a plantation. Mom dies pretty quickly. That means he's sending young Anne down here to sell anything from that plantation to keep things afloat. So hence the familiar building. Now, with that said, back home in Ireland, Anne was said to be a badass even back then. They say at the age when she was 7, 8, 9 years old, remember it's pirate lore, there's no exact numbers here, that she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. We have had the terms servant, knife, and belly all show up in the same cave name from where the other two people that know the other two people hatched, if that makes sense. So, fast forward, the building's done in 13. Pirates are starting to come through Charlestown in 17. Anne is pretty stoked. Why? She's going to fall in love, so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. So, first guy she falls in love with. I said first because there's a handful. We're going to go through every one of them. That's what makes the story interesting. So, first guy is James Bonney. You already see where this one's going. We've mentioned Anne's pirate name already. That didn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica, got married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonney. That's where her name came from. However, when she gets down there, she realizes that James Bonney is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy. Howard. A spy for the British, no less. So, a few years go by and she falls in love again. This is John Rackham, but they call him Calico Jack. This is the guy they based your Johnny Depp character off of, in case you were wondering who this guy is. So, Calico Jack has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of the crew of that ship, but you can't put a female on that crew. Does anybody know why? And keep it family friendly. Thank you. It is bad luck. So, with that said, I get a lot of raunchy answers. So I have to keep it but anyway, he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland to hide her from his wife. She gets it. It's a man's world, but now she's a pirate. She's good to go. But most of us are adults here. Let's put two and two together. She is a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. Then they're going to both jack off the ship as captain. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby here, come back later, we'll figure it out later. So she comes and goes and has the baby, but returns without a child. We have no idea what happens to the baby. None of the books I've ever read about pirates have ever described what happened to that child. So, by the way, ask away. When you guys are out and about in this field, asking her questions. I don't know what the answer is, but if you get a direct answer, it might be true. I don't know. But anyway, the whole relevant part of that story, she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack angry. Now everybody's going to know he got a girl on the crew, and they're going to vote him off the ship. So, while she was away giving birth, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below. He's going to go flirting, because that's who Anne is. She wants to make him even more mad. Guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy, to be part of the crew the Calico Jack captured. So, now we have 2 ladies dressed like males on the same ship, trying to be pirates. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure. But the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to come take them down. Rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with 1 bullet flintlocks. Obviously, that's not going to go very well against the whole fleet of ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, Anne looks at Captain Jack and she says, "I'm so sorry to see you here, but if you were to fought like a man, you would be hanged like a dog." So the word dog shows up on these spirit boxes a lot. Some people even claim to hear dogs barking on spirit boxes on the way in here. The judge wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own. He's already tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk crew that wouldn't fight. Anne and Mary go in front. They reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves, and the judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. "We plead our bellies" was the last thing they shouted out, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her home, she remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Very abrupt ending. We don't know much about her after her pirate career. And a lot of rumors will tell you she went up to Virginia and changed her name up there. Others will tell you that she stayed right here in South Carolina or Charleston to narrow it down even further. We'll never know. And we don't even know where she's buried. Mary Reed dies 5 months later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most books say that it was fever. I say bullshit. Let's call it scurvy. Let's make it romantic. Why the hell not? Questions I left out on purpose. I'm not going to assign any questions. You're going to cherry pick and use whatever you want to. You can also, this is not a prominent English woman you need to tiptoe around. You can poke the bear in here. And I'll actually kind of encourage it. Get some damn answers out of this woman. This is not like, "Hey Eliza, like, what can you tell me about your house?" Like, this is, "Hey Anne, what's going on with Calico Jack's ship?" You know, those kind of mentality. Change your voice tone a little bit. Know your ghost. I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents on purpose, so that we had something to work with. That's the father and his mistress. I left out the name of Calico Jack's ship on purpose. The city where Anne grew up in Ireland. I left that out on purpose. And the color of her hair, which you can obviously guess is red. She's a very Irish lady. Green eyes, red hair. You guys get the point. Everything else is fair game. Ask whatever the hell you want to. As far as spirit boxes go, stay away from the 2 music vehicles we have in here. I'll do the same thing like what we did before. If it's light, like what we had at the Eliza Pinckney Mansion site, then obviously I'll wrap it up quickly, give us the answers. And the last stop that we go to is kind of like a giant surprise. It's not in the same manner of what we've been doing. So I'll be surprising Randy. This is his night where you guys are going to have a blast with this. I can't wait to see have you guys see what I'm going to do to him. Yeah, but we're going to have to change things up a little bit when we get to our last stop. But let's spread out. Let's have some fun in here. Just stay out of the way of the other tours in the vehicle. Can you figure out that email?
That's my favorite. This
Yeah, it was
so I think it's very uncomfortable. I guess so. I don't have to ask questions with this. I just kind of do this. This is the most uncomfortable thing in the world, to hold your arm like this the whole time. Ooh, I can hold it like that. That's better. It's hard to hold that consistently. It's kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, it's better than yours, I guess.
Mine shows numbers. I like mine.
Mine's hurting my arm. Wait, so I'm supposed to avoid cars with this thing?
The sky.
No, that was
Oh,
Hudson.
that was the other one. I don't know. I got mine is over 25.
What's that?
I just have to go over 25.
I know.
And I'm
You're lucky.
good.
I traded with Kim. She was getting uncomfortable, and now I see why.
Oh.
This is hard to
Do you
carry.
have to like click stuff?
Mm-mm.
You just carry it on like that?
You just hold it like this, and you just.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, this is not
It's
what I
nice
expected.
though. It's nice and easy. I've seen stuff like that.
I think it'll be cool to see.
like it.
It'll be cool to
Pretty
see
cool.
the results.
Yeah.
You know, like what he says or what he finds. But
I like him. He has some good stories. Probably because. I like this. It's nice. See, someone else is going on a tour.
only because we have to hurry.
Well, it's normal. I'm up like that. I have to keep going back to sleep. Making myself go back to sleep. Like waking up at 10 o'clock.
Really
Me
hard.
off. I was like, wow.
Oh no, but it's gonna be hard because we have to like go home.
If you want, like, I learned this new move to choke you out.
With everything.
I'll choke you out.
Have to show you.
Yeah, dude. I gotta wax.
Kaylin's got a shower. Will you take a picture of us real quick with your phone?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I'll
And
get-
you have your little spot.
Exactly. Hey, Dad. Billy's gonna take a picture of us real quick. You're gonna have to pause for just a minute and just look that way and say cheese.
Cheese. You ready? Hold on. Hold it. It's nighttime. Alright.
Get it?
Oh, I think it's a good one. You got your little ghost cans.
I mean, I look
and-
disgusting, but
What are you
it's
talking
alright.
about? Hey, you look
It's all right.
wonderful.
Oh God, it's the glasses.
My glasses?
My glasses.
What, do you want to take them off
Yep.
and redo it?
Yep. I'm like, yes, I do. Thank you. I'm gonna fix my hat.
Hold it up like you're looking at your things.
All right, ready?
You want to turn and smile? Yeah. Ready? Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Bam.
All right, let me see.
That's a good one.
Oh my God, that's worse than the first one. I'll keep the first one. I don't like either one of them. I look gross. I'm like, I look disgusting. It's okay. I'll filter them. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
I saw somebody walking over there on this. He didn't pick up the stick.
Oh, you switched with, who had that one?
Chris.
Chris? Yeah. I switched with Kaylin. I'm just trying to be slow. Come on, people.
Do you want to switch me, baby? So you can look
What
at-
do I do?
Just Chill.
Yes, please. This sucks. My hand hurts.
I know, that's why I want
Okay.
you to
What
relax
do I do?
your arm.
Oh.
If it goes over 25, just remember
on
what
nothing.
numbers are. When it goes over 25,
Okay.
that's what we're talking
I
about.
thought it was like 50 something.
No, 25.
Okay. Oh, because we're starting over. 'Cause it's a new
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Double gadgeting it.
Whoa.
How'd you get two?
Flynn's in the back.
Oh, okay.
Well,
This whole time he's been like, I'm fucking so bad.
hey. Should we go drop kick it?
No. No. You're so mean.
See, I had that and I traded it off because I never got that.
I traded with Lily because it was hurting my arm. That was so awkward.
Just get a picture. I could do
It was
this
awkward.
Did you get something?
I don't.
If you see a dot, ignore the dot because he says there's a dot he can't get to go away.
Could I still hand sanitizer?
Yes.
Oh, I don't really. I mean, I don't know. I'm like, what's up?
That's looking for orbs. It's looking for orbs.
Everybody's in it.
Is that a pleasant experience for you, Flynn?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh.
Mhm.
I've seen worse. It was just so darker. That was what was freaking
That smells nice.
the best one.
I see it in here.
I mean, this looks cool as heck.
Yours is the best.
This looks awesome.
I haven't gotten to try that one.
Go ahead. feel
Actually,
free. I think Dad would definitely
I almost
trade
feel
you.
like I'm on Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Am I supposed to be looking for here?
Huh?
I'm supposed to be looking for some stuff here.
You're just filming.
Okay, I can do that.
Would you rather film
Oh,
or look for a
that,
number
that's
higher?
what that.
Oh,
That's what.
I got a 9.4. Where's your phone?
It's right here.
Yeah, I'm keeping mine away now.
No, don't pick up.
Nothing. Got enough volume to be with you?
Yeah.
Chris, you getting anything out of there?
Oh, a few things. 17. Get right behind him. 13. 17. Those two. And then prospect.
This is like somebody who's saying stand
Do you remember what year the building school?
They wasn't together, like,
Yeah,
checking it from the social.
Yeah, what they said Are he just like?
loving it.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened to your baby.
Tell me.
Tell me right
I
now.
will slap the ghost right out your ass.
It's more like, I don't know, he said to piss her off, right?
Left your leper in a Jamaican jail. I mean, what
My
kind of
thing
hag
is, what about
that?
that baby, man? Where's your baby at?
What kind of hack are you? For leaving your Mary Reed in the jail to die.
And your baby
Got
before
the
that.
scurv and shit. All I had to do is eat. I don't know. Fuck that guy.
She was a badass to what she did to the captain, but that's about it.
Yeah.
She was a dick to him, man. I like that.
There was something else.
Hey, babe.
Hmm.
I like Awesome.
I figured
You
that
got the
in your face.
easiest
I
one
know,
ever,
I'm just
dude.
chilling.
I love it.
It's nice. Every time you had the earbuds and all that, I just kept like hiding. that one's your face.
It only changed once.
Yeah.
Like,
Just keep your phone away from it. Your
okay.
phone will make it
My phone's
really
in my
pop.
bag.
Okay.
I think she likes it.
Yeah, she.
Yeah, I went all the way to the corner too.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know. That's pretty cool.
I was fixing to say that as you started talking. The DJ said that.
It's actually pretty cool. You know, if you can take a picture of that with your phone. Like it's a nice angle too, and you can probably take like an upward one. Did that turn out okay? I was wondering about that one. That one looks cool. It's actually nice.
Let's see what it looks
Oh,
like.
is there a moon in the sky?
Not over there.
You never know, they might be following you. Yeah, really.
There's nothing major.
Nothing's happened. Hello.
Yeah. He said he usually doesn't get much out of this, but I got like a 9.4. Let's all come over this way.
You wanna switch with me?
No.
Please.
Will it be phrases like this?
What is that supposed to do?
Because that was
We're looking for numbers over 9.
My dad wanted to switch.
If you have a camera, please lower it. If you have police officers in the lot, somebody may have called kind of thing. So I just want to make sure we're not those people. So let's kind of cover the answers. I'm excited about a lot of things. Let's go ahead and get that thing muted, Chris. Can you figure out where the mute button was? Good. So I'm excited about a lot of things going on in here. First off, where's the tri-field meter again? That's the EMF detector that was giving us the readings. So we actually did get a couple of readings out of that guy tonight. So I'm pretty surprised by that. You didn't get anything out of yours?
No, I don't know. I got it from my daughter.
We just switched.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I told him the last one I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did get that one written down, but we got all the way up to a 7 or 9. Like, this is not the Pinckney Mansion site. I'm actually excited about those numbers here. We're not going to get those 40s and 50s like we do, you know, at every location. That's an anomaly over there. So we did get a lot of terms that was kind of, so it was Jackson, right?
Yeah.
We'll see if anything pops up next to that, but the reason why I'm excited about Jackson is because on the other side of this wall, John Calhoun is buried, who served underneath Andrew Jackson. So again, if something else pops up with like, oh, did we not get, what was it? Nope, it didn't come up. I was thinking about the number of president that he was. He was our 7th vice president and 7th president, so the number 7 did not show up. We did get the word July 4th come up, right? So we heard July 4th. So that's relative to the doctor. We normally get double 7s here because his birthday is July 7th. So again, take that for what it's worth. Not to mention, that's also, we have the 7th vice president over here. The number 7 shows up here a lot, but July specifically, he's been doing that obviously for like the past 2 to 3 months, even though we're not close to July 2 months ago. We're still getting the month of the word July coming through. What was the other things? We had the name Mary show up, so that was pretty interesting. The name Jack showed up, so I'm excited about that because obviously we talked about Calico Jack. We did get 17 and 13 back to back, didn't we, Chris? The Power magazine was finished in 1713, so he heard those two numbers back to back. So that's pretty interesting, the fact that he heard those that way. I think somebody else heard the number 20 showed up while we were here as well, so that's the year that Anne Bonny's trial was, of 1720. So again, lots of small little relative things. You're probably missing a lot in real time, which is great, which means it's going to make this part an easy time for me when I'm going through your recordings. So let's kind of go over the very quick answers, and I'm going to tell you what the hell we're going to do at the next location, because we're really going to mess with Randy's brain a little bit.
Love the right way.
Love the right way. So loving terms usually show up here. The funny thing is we normally get the song lyric of girls just want to have fun.
I got that.
We get it here all the time.
I thought we were bonding, meaning.
Yeah, any kind of female gender terms, like, usually are a big deal over here.
Oh yeah, which I forgot to tell you, just before we went to the alleyway, I heard highway to the danger zone.
And we are on a little tiny highway. This is one of the few pictures of Anne Bonny you can find where she has a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bare breast to show.
Your spirit animal.
We're bonding here. She's still having her kids.
She used to bare breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. You have to remember that she was dressed like a male pirate at the time. So, and I get a lot of teenage boys on this group. I don't need angry moms leaving. You're getting my point. So the name of her parents, William Cormac, Mary Brennan. This was not another subliminal trick, but we also had another Mary in the story. So we had Mary Reed, the lover, and Mary Brennan. Was it sex or six?
I don't know, but that's what it sounded like to me. I'm listening to you and it.
She just got this. Can everybody tell? Yep. Somebody just switched with her. She's excited. She's getting words. But Mary Brennan was actually a servant for the Cormac family. So that's a whole other 30-minute scandal that we're not even going to cover. So Calico Jack, everybody wants to see what they based Johnny Depp off of. So that's why I liked it. And it also reminds me to tell you the answers to what we were looking for there. This is Calico Jack. This is who they based Johnny Depp from. Believe it or not. This guy is named that because of the jackets he wore. They came from British captains that he killed. So his father was a tailor. Textiles were very important to him. So Calico Jack translates to fancy jacket. That's where the name comes from, Calico Jack. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. And don't expect the word Kingston to come through most of your spirit boxes, except for the one that Chris has, only specifically because his picks up more disembodied voices than others. The word king would actually suffice for this location. The ghosts have to use the same kind of principle of, like, what color is a big red barn? Blood. They have to use what they can to be able to give us the answers back. So king would actually suffice for the word generator, the Ouija board, and any other spirit boxes except for Chris's. So the name of the city where Anne grew up in Ireland was named Cork. And also, obviously, you can see that Anne had the color red hair. This particular location is one of the reasons why I give you that heated warning at the top of our tour. About a year and a half ago in September, I brought my group back here, just like I normally do. Temperature is about the same as it is now, low 70s. And the kid next to me, and I had full group, 8, 9, 10 people. The kid next to me goes white as a ghost before we even get started. He's fainting. I have to pick him up by his armpit so he doesn't hit the ground and hit his head. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him. We took him over to that wall because there's a little ledge over there. We got him to sit down, gave him a bottle of water. He's feeling better. And then I told him the story of Anne Bonny that I've already told you. It's important to know they don't know anything about Anne Bonny yet. Afterwards, this used to be the last stop. I spread everybody out and said, go have fun, have a blast. Now, them two guys pull me aside and say, hey, Nick, we have to tell you, we are 2 transgender males. I had 2 females dressed like males on the tour, just like Anne and Mary in the story. So, it was one of those pieces where it makes sense, but it doesn't. I can't explain it. So you have to really watch, like, this is why I have you guys show up early. I start asking you questions, like, are you guys coworkers, are you family, like, what's the deal here? Whose idea was it? Like, that way I kind of get a feel for everybody. If I do get a psychic or a medium on the tour, and if I give them a spirit box, they are not making it past the Pinckney Mansion site. There's too much EMF there, and the spirit box is way too many different types of communication on top of what they're already getting. So this is why I always say, like, I have to know who my people are and kind of get a gist of, like, who are, you know, and that's why I try to get most of your names down. I think I got, like, 90% of you guys down by
You've done really well.
So, yeah. But at the same time, that's why I give that heated warning at the top. The first time somebody ever passed out on my tour, I was in CPR class the next day. I wanted to make sure, and I carry a first aid pack with me at all times just to make sure. But again, you guys get the point. Like, that transgender story, like, that's not something I can make up. Like, it's not something I want to make up. It just so happened to happen. So I can't explain it, but it did happen. But anyway, the next space. Aren't you guys all curious what the hell I'm going to do,
yes,
Randy?
Like really
bad. So Randy's probably already familiar with the Estes method. Are you familiar with what this is?
A little bit.
All right. I'll explain it then. So in a nutshell, somebody's going to give him one of the earbudded spirit boxes, and we're going to blindfold him. And we're going to put noise-canceling headphones over top of those earbuds, and then I'm going to tell the rest of you the history of that location, and he's not going to know. I'm also going to need another volunteer to kind of sit in with him because we're going to do a double blind. There's enough of you here where we can do that. There you go. So 2 people are going to sit out on a bench, and they're not going to know the history. When we come back, we're going to ask them 2 questions as if they're the ghost, and hopefully they're going to channel through them. We're going to film the entire thing. and they're not going to know a damn thing. They're also not going to know the damn history until they get their data back the next day. So, again, I'm not going to repeat the story twice. There's no point in doing that. You're going to get it back tomorrow. So, she's like, I'm game for that. So, there's a couple of things that go into this whole type of scenario. I'll have to give them a few tips and tricks, and we're only going to keep them under for 10 minutes. We do get some high EMF in that location, so those of you with EMF detectors, as I'm getting them set up, after I give you the history, I may spread you guys out around that park to, go see if we get any EMF detection before we really get started with the Estes session. It is also a non-smoking park. I'm also a smoker, so if anybody needs to smoke, we are going about 2.5 blocks and passing by the circular church graveyard. For those of you with video cameras, if you want to get footage of that, there is said to be a ghost that walks through there. I've never caught it, but if you want to get footage, I'm not going to lose pace, so that way we can hurry up and go blindfold Randy. So I'm sure you guys are all excited to put some blindfolds on him and kind of see what the hell's going to come out of this. It is a lot of fun. And even for us on our end, it is still a lot of fun because he's not going to know anything. That's the cool part about it. Well, actually, he's not going to know anything either.
Do you want to put one of these next to me?
Well, we're all going to be surrounding you anyway.
Oh, okay.
Like, we're all going to be really tight-knit. But we're going to send 3 EMF detectors out into the field and around the park as I'm kind of getting you guys blindfolded and giving you your tips and tricks. I would say smoke them if you got them. Do you guys know any, or need to show me anything or tell me anything that you've heard or seen before we go talk?
Don't have to say it twice.
Like water seal Thompson?
Just Thompson. The name Thompson.
I just meant like the spell. Like Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Thompson's water seal.
Or it's
Switch
still
time wants
recording.
to try it.
Tell me.
Why don't you just turn it off?
Whenever we go to the
No.
And then there was
Okay.
treatment
But should
twice,
We can do it right now.
like 2 separate times.
No, it's fine.
Shift
Well, we
treatment,
turn it off
treatment,
whenever we're
child,
switching.
and then there was something else, but I can't remember it now.
Oh, well,
Hard
I'll
carriage.
let y'all decide to do that. There you go.
Here,
If you get anything above a 9.4 on either of those numbers.
Kai, to turn it on or off, you click this button right here. Do you see that? That one. That's the one. You click it once, it should click, and then it's on right now.
Okay.
Got a mosquito bite through my leggings.
And when we left the other place over there, when we come around where that other tour was, it said another father.
So, I guess I'm going to tell you about the ghost we're about to deal with. It's got pretty shy at times. So I'm actually really glad everybody else is here with us. We only here a few minutes to get him to come out anyway. There's a cool thing for him here. He gets real, like, not interested. Like, he's just not going to talk to us. Okay. Alright, so, first time I came in here in November, by the way, cameras, other tours won't pass through here since the clock is head up your area. Everything here now, so we're good, but just kind of keep an eye out. But anyway, first time I came in here, I didn't know what we were going to find. I told my 2 people that I had on a cold night because everybody else canceled, it was too cold. Like, let's just see what happens. Somebody with a spirit box heard the name Henry in the year 1828 specifically. I was using the word generator list that Caitlin has, and it said the word Tim on it. Behind me is Henry Timrod, born in 1828. I cannot make this stuff up. So, Henry Timrod, quick synopsis of his life. The guy was sick for most of his life and he was a writer. Here's what I'm going to tell you about him being born in 1828. He's old enough to fight in the Civil War. So I want to kind of group this in a little bit. I don't want them to hear anything that I'm telling you guys. To make sure that they're remaining completely unbiased, not to mention what the other people do to walk around us. But at any rate, so he goes to fight for the Civil War, and his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So they sent him home, knowing he was a writer, and they said, go be the voice of order. Go tell people what's going on out here. So he came home and started writing poetry about what was going on in the battlefield. He became known as the laureates of the Confederacy. Like, that's a pretty big deal. So a few years go by, he has a son. His son, his name was Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve, and he dies 9 months later. But anyway, you guys are going to know about all this. They're not going to know any of this. But obviously, this was pretty tragic for Henry and his wife, Katie. So with that said, it's just funny that Katie volunteered to do this.
Right.
It's going to be very interesting to see if her name pops up. That's why I was like, oh, this might actually work. But anyway, a few more years go by. He's not writing as much as he's supposed to because he's got a contract with the publisher and the newspapers. And his college friend calls him up and says, you know what, I can see you're not publishing. Come out to my cottage in the middle of Columbia. That's in the middle of the state. You can write what you're supposed to be writing and leave Katie and back in Charleston with her parents to mourn. He goes out to that cottage, and that's where he writes his last words. His last words were beholder of brief mortality. Translates to person with a short life. And then he coughs. Ironically, somebody just coughed. It landed on the page in a blood stain because he had tuberculosis. So, and that blood stain, and he died right there, just so you know. That blood stain looks like the man writing at his desk. So, all at the blood book, which are one day a year, the Charleston Library Society on Halloween be a member of the library to be able to go see it, and it's a society, it's not a normal library, but the internet is readable. I'm going to show you what that blood stain looks like, and then we're going to go see if we can go contact Henry Timrod by using Katie and Randy as channelers. So that's going to be the fun part of this, and hopefully we're going to get quite a bit out of this. Again, we're going to see how this works out with Katie. So here is his last page. So you can see the blood stain looks like a man writing, and we call it the blood book. To me, this tells the whole story because it says, beholder of brief mortality, person with a short life. Which, by the way, he was only 38 when he died. So I will also ask questions while we're over there that are in real time. So if the church bells start going off, I'm going to ask, hey, Henry, what sound do we hear? I want to make sure like what we're getting is legitimate stuff. I may do things like that. I'm also going to be asking yes/no questions. Those of you with spirit boxes that don't use or that are using earbuds, I want you to continue to listen. The Ouija board device, I definitely want that thing going off, and the Kaylin with yours, the core generator as well. The answers may go to your devices. It happens all the time, especially that church question with the bells. I'm going to ask it. Like, lo and behold, guarantee I'm going to ask it because it always gives us the answer. And I don't say it. It's, hey, what sound did we get out of the church? Bells. It either comes from them. The Ouija board has spelled it out for us directly, no interference. And just the other night we had it again on the word generator. So they didn't caught it in real time because they were drunk. It happens. I caught it when I was going through the data. It is what it is. So let's go channel these people and see what the hell we can get out. Have a good time, everybody.
It's time.
So draining of batteries, I will tell you, because that can be a thing, every single device that we're using today is either a brand new battery or has been fully charged and remains on a charger until I leave the house.
What did you tell them?
Right. So when something does drain on my phone, it's legit.
Right.
It doesn't happen often. Once or twice a day. Alright, so a couple of things. Alright, so this will all be really cool. So you know, like we're going to circle around so nobody else can see what the hell we're doing over here. So another tour circle passes through. When we get you all set up, we're going to keep you under for 10 minutes. This is the only thing I time out of the entire time we've had together. I'm not saying, oh, we should have the power back in 12 minutes, we got to go. I don't care. Like, I ghost hunt for a living. The only reason I time this is to make sure you two are okay. So a family member, when it's time to tap you out, whether you're hyperventilating or I'm watching your breathing and I think it's a little time for you to come out, they're going to tap your leg. So that means take off all your gear on your own, and we're going to see how you're doing, or it just might be your 10-minute time. If you're talking too loud, because you will be repeating everything you hear in real time. So if I'm asking questions, I want hopefully to get the answers from you. You just don't know
Who
what
were
I'm
your
asking.
parents?
So
No, he went down a little bit.
I sort of feel like I'm on a boat right now.
right now,
No.
are you okay to do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ain't gonna talk him off that bench. They had to
I
save
didn't
his
think I was
life.
going to.
It just feels like there's somebody.
He'll die on that bench.
I'll find out. Again, remember to tell us what you're hearing. I may also ask yes/no questions, and you don't know that. It's okay to answer yes/no if you. Yeah, just remember, if you're talking too loud, tap on the shoulder, just whisper. We can all hear you. We're all going to huddle in even closer than this. And we're going to be filming the entire thing. So kind of keep that in mind. So, spirit boxes are at a comfortable volume for you. Glasses are going to be needed to be taken off. But if you tested your spirit box, make sure they're at a comfortable volume. Once you're under, do not touch your spirit box. You want to make sure you're not cheating. If that makes sense. Like turning the volume down.
Another question.
I think that probe's broken. Yeah. Somebody messed with it last week. It hasn't been right since. I just keep forgetting to replace it. I got a stack of them at home.
Now we're just like repeating things we hear from this, right?
You got it.
All right.
You're not going to hear what I'm asking.
Right. So what if we get? I don't know, like.
Just say out loud.
Clear, whatever you hear. Your volume for yours. Right here.
Oh, okay.
Just tell me when it's good.
That's good.
Okay. All right. Pull one out. All right. So, Katie.
I'm done.
So,
Sorry.
okay. So it's blindfolds first, then earbuds, and then your noise canceling headphones.
think that's a good volume.
Okay, just want to make sure you guys set at a good volume first. So we are going to huddle in pretty close. For those of you sitting, I know it's kind of, we want to see this, but I want to make sure we're basically protecting them from any kind of viewpoint at all. Okay, blindfold up. Also keep in mind, guys, I'm not going to be writing anything down. I will watch the video if I feel like we actually had a success. Otherwise, I won't need to rewatch it. It is 11:12. And whenever you start hearing things, feel free to start repeating whatever you're hearing. Video cameras, let's make sure we're filming them the entire time. So with yours specifically, yours gives us the best view because there's no stick figure, the whole 9 yards. Did our battery die up here?
So when do we start this one?
Whenever, yep, whenever.
I'll need help with these headphones.
They handed it to me and said this is an upside down.
She needs help with the headphones.
Somebody help her out.
I'm just gonna have to walk.
Oh, it's because you guys flipped the camera. Camera goes this way.
Ready? I'm going over your ears.
Knowledge.
And you just have to stretch them out to where they fit in your leg.
There we go.
Wow. You good?
2 girls.
It's 2 girls. Okay, we haven't even begun yet, and they're getting stuff, which is good. Okay, so
Christians.
It's 11:13. So 10 minutes starts now. Henry Timrod, if you are here, we would like to know what your occupation is, please. I got 2 people sitting here listening. Ironically, one of them has the same name of your wife. Maybe we can make that connection and you can tell us later on what your wife's name was. But let's start off with your occupation, please.
Be aware of it.
I'm aware of what your occupation is. I need you to be aware of it.
Mountains.
Role of righteousness.
Henry Timrod, I need you to push through, and I need you to tell
Line
me.
of success.
Did she say right of success or light of success?
Line.
Henry, tell us your occupation, please. We're going to lose time before it gets too long, Henry. We would like for you to start early. We're the only ones in here that we can see.
Gonna be all right.
Okay, good. I appreciate that. Let's go straight into your
Problems.
wife. Can you we get problems over here? So, Henry, can you tell us the name of your wife?
50-year bonus.
Tell us the name of your wife, please. This young lady to my right has the same name
Protected.
as your wife. I'll even take her maiden name as an
Turning
example.
people against you.
The maiden name was Goodwin, by the way, so if we get the word good as an answer, I'm good. I'm okay with that. Henry, come through and tell us your wife's name. It's really quiet, Henry.
People.
Yeah, there's a lot of us. I got a big group tonight. This group is a lot different than the group that I had here.
Stole them.
Times changing.
Than I had the other night. This family here is trying to learn more about you. You need to tell us, please. Kind of fill in the blanks of what I couldn't tell them. You want to keep that on?
Nikita.
Bribery.
Okay.
Thanks for checking.
I'm always checking in on you, Henry.
I get it.
I know, but you got to tell us a little bit of details. This is some vague stuff. I don't want to have just a casual conversation. I need the nitty-gritty details. Do we want to go to...
95.
Let's go into the answer of what you normally give us. Can you tell me what sound
Be all right.
comes out of the St. Michael's Church? What sound do we get?
Will you?
227.
What,
To Las Vegas.
what's the sound we get out of St. Michael's Church? What do you have?
Just spelled out no.
Henry, that's not funny.
Like back to back.
Like a no-no?
Like
And-
no, just immediate no.
Henry? No Notice they didn't say anything while we were making our jokes.
Yeah.
Mine said nod whenever you said, I know you don't like that there's a lot of people.
We got like a, yep, I don't like it.
Summer.
Henry, do we not want to talk about your wife? Give us a no if you want us to move on.
Another name.
Another name. Okay. Let's move on to your son. Let's talk about your son. Can you tell me his birthday? I'm okay with just the number of the date. That's proof enough
Need
for
some?
All the conversations.
I know, I talk about him a lot, but that's a nice cool breeze.
Tried?
Tell me the name of your son or maybe his birthday. I'm okay with just the number of his birthday.
Tires and auto service.
Henry, push through, buddy. Really need you to push through. This is a good group here.
Marketer.
Henry, give us a number of the date.
What was the diamond?
The
Think
name.
my battery's dead.
Anybody got a
2348760.
I didn't make any sense of that, by the way. I'm looking for the number 24, which I'm sure you guys have picked up on.
Not genuine?
We are being genuine tonight, Henry. This is a pretty solid group here. No hecklers. Nobody giving us a hard time. Let's talk about Willie.
It's a long way from home.
Yeah.
Upset?
Can you tell me where he's buried? He's buried right next to Henry. It's in Columbia, just in case we get any kind of clues to that. Henry, can you tell us where your son Willie is buried?
2.0.
Lots of numbers. Henry.
2010.
Caleb.
2010?
Just changed, but not really to anything.
Me time.
Alabama?
He's not buried in Alabama.
Lady.
We tried to talk about Katie already. You wanted
333.
you wanted us to move on.
Tickets on sale now.
Neat. We're at about 6 minutes
Right.
so far, guys, just so you know. Like, this doesn't take too long.
May the Lord.
Well, we're going to get into those religious terms now, huh? Henry, let's go right back to the simple question of, tell us your occupation.
So much love.
Henry, are there other people here with you?
Higher up?
That's a yes-no question. Henry, are there other spirits here with you that we can't see? Henry, tell us how many other spirits are here. That number's normal.
Wild cherry.
Life.
Henry, how many spirits are here with you tonight?
Different as two towns.
Spelled out me.
Just me? Like M-E?
Yes.
So Henry, is it just you? Just say yes. If it's just you, say yes. They can hear you. You know how this works.
$69.59.
More details.
Solid pine.
Who else is here with us? Say your first name, please.
Situations.
No, I want the first name. Quit hiding yourself. I know who you are. You need to come through and tell us your first name to verify.
Could it be?
What do you got?
Mine said right and then scream.
What was the first one?
Right.
Like write a name?
Yeah, right. W-R-I-T.
Always drop a knife. 95.
You need to give us your first name, please. Who else do we have here? I'm excited about the right, but I'm also excited about the draw. I'm going to explain here in just a moment. Dr. Ladd, if you're here, you need to come through and give us your first name.
Jesus.
Significant way.
Did you just say Joseph? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Dr. Ladd, welcome.
Built from shame.
Call it angels.
Tell us what happened down at Philadelphia Alley, Mr. Dr. Ladd.
Twice in verse 10.
Dr. Ladd, why are you over here?
Said hello.
You just want to say hello. Dr. Ladd, I tell your story every night. Why don't you give us something specific about where you were shot? You guys obviously watch out for the word knee, leg, something, anything relative to that area.
You had the strength.
Dr. Ladd, tell us where you were shot, please. This just took a weird turn, didn't it, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about you.
It's not about me. It's about you, Dr. Ladd.
Loved it.
Henry Timrod. If you're both here together.
Reaction to Greg Burhall.
Dr. Ladd, we need to...
Oh?
Sit thermal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dr. Ladd, we need to shut this down. These folks have been
Cult?
they've been under long enough. Do you want us to leave? I know you're just getting warmed up.
Pastor Jeffrey?
Because no one can do it all.
You're right. You're absolutely right. This is why I bring friends every night.
Take me back to one of those days.
Wow. Dr. Ladd, I'm
Hoping to come back.
I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to say goodnight. Can you say goodnight back, whoever's here? I'm pretty sure we have Dr. Ladd here with us, and I appreciate that.
In the night?
Did you say end of night?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Somebody call it. Thank you, Dr. Ladd. Thank you, Mr. Timrod. I will be back tomorrow night. Family members, let's tap them on their legs, please. Somebody wake them up. Okay, first things first.
I can't get it off my ear.
That was 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were
Did
actually
it feel longer or shorter?
That was 12 minutes.
Okay.
Really?
Did it feel longer or shorter?
It felt longer.
Longer.
Most people say it feels like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, it did not feel
Whenever
longer.
he said 10 minutes,
Alright,
it showed up 12,
I'm
and he
just going to
just
turn
said it
this
was
one
12
off
minutes.
so we have that specifically.
That's creepy.
So, a couple of things here, guys.
Whenever you said that they were going to go into for 10 minutes, it said 12, and you just said that it was 12 minutes.
So it's like a character deforming. Alright, here's why I'm excited. First off, you guys feel okay, right?
Yeah.
So I can kind of get into why I'm so excited right now. So, perfect. I'm actually going to come over here so I can address everybody. So a couple things were said. I know I kind of went away from Henry Timrod and kind of went into Dr. Ladd. Here's the reason why. First off, Randy said the number 59. Anybody remember the address where the doctor lived?
Oh, yeah.
59 Church Street. That is 0.3 miles this way. So it's very close. We've been noticing more and more things have been coming through about traits about the house, and I've been kind of like, he said something, it was like something like solid pine or something made out of wood. I don't know what that house is made out of, but you better damn. So I was excited about that. I'm like, okay, maybe we got something else going on. We did ask the question again of like what Henry's job was. We didn't get a direct answer here. The word right came up on the word generator list, and then 2 words after that we had the word draw. I want you to think about what Dr. Ladd is famous for. Take 10 paces, turn, draw. So, kind of take that for what it is. Then he actually, when I asked for the first name, we got a first name. He actually said the name Joseph. So I was pretty stoked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So we actually had, I was up to a count of at least 5 things that were relevant to Dr. Ladd specifically, and like 1 or 2 things kind of relevant to Henry Timrod. Normally for me in a 10-minute time span, 4 direct answers is a win. Like, that is a successful session in this short amount of time. So a 2 would be slightly successful, and of course anything less than that is kind of like, it was a win. We worked, we tried, kind of thing. I'm actually really stoked. This is probably one of the better sessions I've had in probably a good 3 or 4 weeks, where we've actually gotten direct answers. Most of them lately have been kind of, you guys get the point. And I tell them at the end of the night, like, you guys suck at this, and they kind of all laugh, and that's kind of how it rolls on. Now, some of you are looking at me like, how are you possibly making anything out of any of this? If they were hearing that, I separated the recording from Randy's device, so that way you're going to have just what he heard during this time that we were in this space, and you're going to have a separate set of notes just from that. So I am going to go, rewatch the video from the infrared camera, so I can actually take notes of what was said in real time. I only do that if I feel like it's actually necessary in a case like this. This way I'm not writing things down, I can stay focused on what's actually happening. I'm stoked about this. Those of you with EMF detectors, I'm going to ask all 3 of you to take a quick lap through the grassy areas around the park, just 1 full lap. Let me know what you guys find. Everybody else, just kind of hang out here. I'm going to start collecting your devices and kind of, telling you what your data is going to look like.
It's me, right?
Wow, what a great session. Like, I'm actually really, really stoked. We had probably a good 6 solid things total that were coming out of the whole session. So,
Hey, am I the one who's supposed to pick?